things that we all do over the weekend as well. So one of the things we do: read, sleep, and all of these things. Relax for the new week.
Exactly.
But anyways, the weekend is in all our faces. Make sure you enjoy it as well, as much as you can, and stay on 92.7. We'll discuss all trending national stories in a moment. Please remember that the views to be expressed is not in any way the position of Flow FM 92.7 or any of the staff therein, but solely as expressed, by Nicholas Umaronoye, the analyst this morning, or any contribution caller that we have. And please, we'll keep the conversation very, very clean, and it will be very civil.
All right, before we get into the conversation, this is to remind you that we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, and it's on Facebook at FlowFMNG and on YouTube at FlowFM927. So you can get on any of those apps and get in on the live action happening in the studio right now. Let's get into the conversation. President Tinubu is urging African leaders to break free from foreign dependence. He was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima and criticized their reliance on external influence and social media activism over concrete governance.
Well, I think that statement, that speech in itself, I read the entire speech and it struck me as an exercise in self-contradiction. The first thing I did was to go back to what he said. Was it in September? September last year, 2024, at the United Nations UNGA, that is the United Nations General Assembly. This was the same Shettima that was pleading for concessions from world leaders. That's the only way Africa can grow. You understand? Then between then and January, what happened? There is a shift in geopolitics in the United States of America, and it's affecting everywhere. So now it is what we have been saying, So you see, generally, I think Nigerian politicians should grow character. That has been what has been lacking. There is nothing wrong with what he has said. But you see, at the end of the day, the person talking matters. At point A, you are saying X. At point B, you are saying Y. Nobody takes that kind of a person serious. Now look at what he said, about the need to create platform for youth and the rest of them, that Africans should grow, they should stop depending on, at what point? At when this US AIDS and things like that is ravaging all over the places and things like that. You understand? So, yes, it's a good message, but coming from him, what kind of premium are you going to put on it? If Tinubu had said this, you understand? Because I know Tinubu's character very well. He's the kind of person, he's a hands-on kind of person. You understand? Personally, I might not like some of his style. But in terms of being a practical politician, that is what he is. He goes to get results. That is his way of doing things. You understand? But you see, when you are at point A, when you have the people like Shettima talk on one point at this level, then you come and do a contradictory thing. It sent conflicting signals. Nobody even knows what to believe anymore. So, as much as I like that call, I've been here saying that I like what is happening in the US, telling Africans to their face to man up. But honestly, you understand, I wish he had chosen another topic to talk about, because he's not in the best position to make that kind of, campaign. He's not.
But it could just be like an extra, tap on, African leaders to stop the dependence on.
But at what point did he realize that? Because that is exactly why.
Well, September to now is not so it's not so short to realize that. Well, I think we should maybe with the realization. I think we are left on our own. Anyways, let's take action.
But then you see, when you look at it vis-a-vis what is happening in this Sahel block that we are talking about, we are talking of far younger elements, seen far ahead of older politicians like him. With more experience in governance and the rest of them. In terms of government challenges, Maiduguri, Borno State, is far more complicated than any one of these countries we are talking about. When you talk of political challenges, that a governor faces as a Borno State governor. It's more than what you are seeing in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. You understand? So, if a former governor, and a senator, cannot see that far. You understand? At UNGA, you are saying one thing. then when there is a change of weather, you are saying a different thing entirely. I don't place talk on.
But don't you also think that at the United Nations General Assembly, where world leaders are all assembled, it could be marketing, Nigeria in a way to say, you know what, come do business or come do partnership or something like that. Because there are calls, for investment and all of these things, and then putting your country out there. We're open for collaborations and all.
I think
so. It could be that.
I think you should go back to that speech. It wasn't about marketing Nigeria. It was doing Babianla and Onga. It was as simple as that. It was a case of Almajiri kind of thing.
Maybe that's your way of interpreting it.
But of course, that is it. That was what was happening there. You understand? Because it's online. Because I took time to read it, because you see, when I read that statement, something just clicked somewhere. That is what happens to you when you are used to looking at information. You see a contradiction. So I was wondering, why did I feel this way? So I went back. I knew it was in that UN something while I was reading it. So I went back there and read it, because I recall clearly that it was an issue among people like me, most journalists, asking for debt forgiveness again. You understand? After we had the Paris Club, debt buyback we had under President Obasanjo. You understand? So it was, you see, that this is the quality of politicians we have in Nigeria, and that has always been the problem with leadership. That is why there has always been policy inconsistency. When we start doing this now, if there is a shift in geopolitics in the United States, are we going to jettison it again? So that is the message. It's about the kind of person that is sending out a message to Nigerians. Is this somebody to be taken serious? No, you can't be making contradictory statements like this. Yesterday, I was commending him for what he said about the banking, using debt and things like that, because that's his forte as a banker. And he has said something that is consistent with standard practice. But today, no, I won't give him a pass mark for that. No.
Away from that. The federal government, through the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Elausa, has proposed replacing Nigeria's current 934 education system with a 12-4 model to enhance educational outcomes and align with global standards. Should we not adopt what works best for us, or should we look at what is being generally accepted on the global stage?
When have we ever agreed that something is best for us? That is the question. From 5
6 3 3 4.
No, 5. No, there was
5 3
5 4. Is it 5? No. 6 5 4.
Then you move to 6 3 3 4. Yeah.
Yeah, to 6 3 3 4. Now you are having
9 3 4, and now they want to move to 12 4.
The difference between 6334 and this current one is still, there is no difference really, if you ask me. It's just a 12 years of unbroken basic education. You understand? So but you see, the modalities is what I'm a bit worried about, because if you look at, you have especially in the private sector, because the honest truth is that the private sector is taking over education in Nigeria. You understand? In terms of yes, you might have the level at which the private sectors are participating in education is huge, and it's increasing. You understand? When you say 6 years of unbroken, education, for the government schools and things like that, that might be easily achievable. But we are talking of proprietors who have built only primary. They have taken care of the first 6 years. How do they migrate? They have pupils for first 6 years. They do common entrance exam, and they go on to a secondary school. So what is going to happen to common entrance in the first instance? What is going to happen, to common entrance examination? You understand? What's going to happen to the, is it ANCOP? Is it still called ANCOP, the junior WAEC thing? What is going to happen to all those things? You understand? So these are some nitty-gritties we need to look at. You see, at the upper level, at the NCE, that is National Council of Education, at that level, they probably have certain facts that I am not privy to. You understand? But there are certain questions that I would like to ask, because I need to know, for example, what is wrong with the current 6334 that we are practicing? You understand? What is wrong with it? Where is the problem really? I while looking at that statement, I saw that what they are one of the things they are trying to achieve is to reduce the out-of-school incidences, where pupils complete their primary and just drop out, not without benefit of having, the secondary education. Then, of course, this new plan of incorporating trade guild and all those things and things like that. You see, those are the things I would like to see. You understand? Because if not, it is still, how am I going to put it? It's just like dancing around in circles. You understand? What I'm willing to see is how they can midwife this guild system, this artisanry, into the educational system, like we spoke about earlier, sometimes in the past. How are we going to bring it into, in such a way where you can have this guild, this certification of artisans, even from secondary school. You get my point? So, because most times when you look at what is happening to our artisanry and why we have a lot of quack and all those issues of standards we are talking about, is because there are no proper, educational institution to guarantee that, yes, these people are well certified. They have gone through, all the basic tenets and the philosophy behind trade, one trade or the other. So when you have that kind of certification, even if they choose not to go for higher institution, you need to hire them for certain things. You can then start asking for whether they have a guild certification or something like that. Let me give you another example. When you are doing that is education related courses, this double horns education, it is also a requirement to have this teacher certification from what's the name of this teacher certifying body. Within after NCE, you pay to get that certification. You understand? So I am looking at the possibility of, with a school, with your SSCE, could there be a kind of certification that shows that you have gone through that guild system? So that even if government wants to look for an artisan, maybe in 5 years, in 10 years, you can say, okay, if you have your school cert in addition to a certification in certain guild, whatever, you understand, that is a way of institutionalizing those curriculums that we are talking about. Not that after another 10 years, another government comes in and he says that no, we are going to scrap that system and we're going to have something else entirely.
Now, I also want to ask you quickly, just for, add-ons, that with all of these things and then the introduction of this, skill acquisition and all, what happens to technical colleges? Are we looking at the situation where it kills the technical colleges, or it will?
I don't think so.
Help improve or set up more technical colleges around the country?
No, I don't think so. I think both of them can exist pari passu. It's just like having having a school specialized in education, for instance. You understand? The technical schools essentially are basically like the name sounds. It's to train them in like woodwork, building, painting, and all those things. It's like that is while you are supposed to be in secondary school preparing for university and things like that, you are trained as a technician from the word go. That is what. So it's more or less like it is a specialized school, kind of. You understand? It's going to be complementary. So what they are trying to say, what I think the federal government is trying to say is that, look, for those who from infancy already showed an aptitude for technical things, that is the school best suited for them. But for those who you don't know exactly where to place them,
and will it encourage more setup of technical colleges? Is also part of what I'm asking.
It may, because you see, over time, I don't know, there is this kind of, technical schools have been there for a very long time, and considering the need to have people trained in that line in our economy, you see that it is sadly not popular. You understand? So to say whether this might add to more technical schools, it's kind of dicey. You can't. There is this thing about us here. Look at the case of Ivotech that you have in, is it Ajasha Ekpo?
Yeah.
Ordinarily, you are supposed to see a lot of patronages in that school. But what happened after the administration left? So it's a function of the government in power. If the administration, and we create a system that allows focus on technical schools, then of course you might have more of them coming up. But if it's this same way of changing every now and then, it might just be as it is right now. No changes whatsoever.
Okay. All right, well, let's move to another conversation. And this is with the ex-Ekiti state governor, Kayode Fayemi. He is saying that President Tinubu has good intentions, but that action matters more. He commended him for, the bold decision on removing subsidy removal and foreign exchange policies, but is also saying that leadership requires deliberate and effective action to bring meaningful change. That they've not done enough. The president has not done enough for the people and should take responsibility for the shortcomings.
Well, yeah, that statement, I think it's from the same event that Shetima attended. Well, on the surface, he's a politician. He has said, that is on the surface, he has said the right thing. Intention does not, intention might be good, but you have to back it with action.
All right, Nicholas, please hold on the source, please. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes.
What's your name, please? What's your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Oladele. Oladele.
Oladele, good morning to you, Oladele. Welcome to the Headline News Review. You have the floor.
Yeah. I want to talk about the education system.
All right, please, go ahead.
That we practice in Nigeria. I think there is nothing unpopular with it. This is the same type of educational system that is practiced in China. 6 years primary school, 3 years junior, 3 years senior, 4 years university. But I think where we are missing it is lack of selflessness and commitment from our leaders. When we are making policies, we have to look at the long term. Policies that will be made and become standardized must have been checkmate in all areas. And it should have the test of time. Not that you saw it today, look at the issue of UTME. The minister just wake up one day and say, okay, well, from this age, you won't be able to do this, so thing, and forth and back. So these things must be able, you must sit down, you must make a policy that will last the test of time. And there's a way you can infuse technical ability into our educational system, in which anybody that passes through it and is a graduate of secondary school must be able to stand on his or her own and add to Nigerian economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oladele, for that comment. You can also talk to us on 0807 777 9927. Oladele, thank you a lot. Please,
yeah,
Nicholas.
The guy just echoed our sentiment. So, like I was saying, he commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the removal of fuel subsidy. This was the same man who was at the vanguard, that fought a former president for wanting to remove that same subsidy at a time it was most auspicious for us to do so, and that was 2012. We were part of that coalition that occupied Lagos, occupied Nigeria because of that same particular policy. So, of course, later he admitted that it was all politics. You see, and that is my point. We cannot afford, to be taking people like this serious anymore. You see, politics is a process that forced leadership on you, where you acquire the position or platform to be a leader. So, leadership is a very, very serious business. It's not for demagogues. It is not for people who say A at point X and Y at point Z. It's people who are consistent, their character. You understand? So you see, with just one contradiction, he has soiled whatever good intention he intended with that. For me, that is the way I look at things. Because you see, there are certain things when you do about, when you are asked to do a profile of a person, in politics, you have to look at what he's been saying. Are there consistencies in what he's been saying? Then you look at his character portraiture in terms of the vocation he has had. Is he a consistent person in terms of policy implementation when he held position A, position B, position C? You see, when you take the average Nigerian politician through these rudiments, more than 90% of them will fail and fail woefully. You understand? So that is why sometimes, you understand, maybe you just want to sound platitudes because you are, because of the education calls for it. But you must be circumspect that there are people like us who will be listening. And most Nigerians are like that. If Nigerians decide to ignore you and just dance along, it's not because they are fools. It's just because it's just convenient to do so. But the average Nigerian is a very intelligent person. You understand? So, that is my take about that. You see, sometimes when they say things like this, it puts me off because, I remember what you said several years ago, and I look at, your history. And the moment I see contradiction in them, I just wave it aside, that this is just politics, nothing more.
All right. Thank you a lot for that. Let's quickly take a look at the intention of the federal government. They announced that funds generated, from toll gates will be used for road maintenance, emphasizing the importance of sustainable infrastructure development. This is according to the Director General of the Bureau for Public Enterprise, BPE. Stressing that maintaining quality infrastructure requires significant financial investment. He urged the public to see the initiative as an investment in the safety, convenience, and economic prosperity while holding the government accountable for proper fund utilization. And again, and there is a counter reaction to that, well, why do you want to bring back, tolls, some of these federal roads that are not even motorable? Before you respond to that, I think, it looks like we're having a call, but anyways, you can please try and call back. Nicholas, your reaction to that?
Yeah, well, you see, that counter reaction is one of the responses they are going to be getting. You understand? You can only toll roads that are serviceable. That is number one. Then two, you see, it is not enough to just announce a policy. You understand? You see, we have always had this policy somersault. Inconsistencies in policies. That has always been our problem. You see, we have never been short of ideas in Nigeria. Our leaders have never been short of ideas. But in maintaining consistency in all these policies has always been a problem. Don't forget that there used to be a toll gate around that, is it Ogeri? That is
Lagos Ibadan Expressway.
Yeah. There used to be a policy. So Obasanjo came one day and said that all the money realized from there are being served. Corruption is happening there. So there is no need to keep that toll gate. So he demolished all the toll gates. You understand? So now,
Nicholas, hold on, please. A minute. Good morning. Please try and connect back if you can.
Now we are now having that toll gate coming back. See, I would have loved a situation where we have a more, I think BPE will have to tell us more about the plan. It has to be different from, what we used to have, where it is only the federal government that is managing toll gates. I think a better way of looking at toll gate is to bring in the private sector participants. Those private sector people ought to be those people who built the road.
Nicholas, we have a call coming in. Good morning. Okay. We seem to be having a bit of challenge with the phone line. You can message us on WhatsApp 0807 777 9927. All right, you're talking about bringing the private sector
exactly
into it. Is it looking like what they have at the Lekki toll?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
But regardless of whatever you say about Lekki toll, I think it has been properly managed. If you look at it, apart from providing infrastructure, apart from road maintenance funding, and of course, bringing in money into the coffers of Lagos State government. You understand? It has been problematic. It's a success story. Let us not. It's a success story. Yeah. We might argue on how much the gains have reached Nigerians and Lagosians and the state vis-a-vis the private sectors who are involved in it. You understand? We might argue that, but there is no taking away from the fact that that thing has been a success. So I would want to see a replication of that, especially in major trunk roads, or those roads that are arterial, to the economy. You understand? I want to see more of those things, and the more you have motorable roads, people will not care the costs in the toll. So if you look at that critique essentially is about the serviceability of those roads. So you see, the moment you take away that argument, you understand, the Nigerians are willing to pay. Yes, after all, it's just small, and it's just small token, So that is my take on that, really.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this one about the Senate and them ordering an investigation into allegations of Nigerian involvement in Niger's security crisis. The Nigerian Senate has ordered an investigation into allegations made by Niger Republic's military leader, General Abdurrahman Tishani, and accusing the Nigerian government of collaborating with France to destabilize Niger's internal security. I think we've touched on this at some point.
Yeah. You see, sometimes, these lawmakers should, they should just accord us the courtesy of when they piss on us sometimes. They should have the courtesy of calling it rain. You want to investigate another country, who is going to help you do those things? You are going to call on, the national security advisor that is under the president. You are going to call on, the army officers that is under the president. It's the president that is being accused, and you expect them to come up with a report that is going to be unbiased. You understand? That is if they are really, because I think it's a waste of time, honestly, and they just go about whatever they are doing. I haven't said that really. I made my point that I think that the Nigerian president's comment, I think it was ill-timed. It was wrong. You understand? Put on diplomatic and at the political level. You see, you do not go all the way to antagonize the president of a powerful neighboring country the way he did. Maybe by proxy and things like that, you could have done that. But you see, as it is right now, you understand, the statement came directly from the numero uno of the, so there is no denying it. It's a conscious statement you made. You understand? So now, the Senate is going to seize on it. You understand? And they are going to come up. I don't want to preempt whatever, but I can assure you that whatever that is going to come, it's not going to be flattering to Niger. So that is a lesson in diplomacy that Niger has to learn.
All right. And before we go this morning, let's take a look at this other interesting story. The president departed for France en route to Addis Ababa, at least to attend the 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of the AU Heads of State, scheduled for February 12th to 16th, 2025, and then we head to Paris. We head to France again. 5 months ago, he was in Paris. He was in France. But this is a private visit.
Well, it's a private visit. Yeah, the president is entitled to a private visit. But then, let's not overlook the fact that more and more there has been this entente between. Well, it's not an entente. Sorry, I should not have used that. More of an rapprochement between France and Nigeria. It is on the increase. And I did say that the reason is because, for me, it's because, gradually the presidency is sensing a kind of aloofness from the U.S. You understand? So, and France and U.S. have not been exactly seen eye to eye on policy issues. So, then don't forget that, the Sahelian bloc.
Will this also bring a lot of suspicion to them again?
Of course it will.
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
Of course. It's going to bring a lot of suspicion. So, and I think that is one of the reasons why the Nigerian president made that accusation. Because of that relationship that is growing between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, France, and Nigeria. You understand? So, of course, it's politics. It's global politics, something very, very big that ordinarily from here, we might not be able to see everything. But what we can just do is just to hazard guesses and see the direction where things are going. This is just the direction. This is just
how much of pressure will this exert on Niger as to the accusation of Nigeria allowing France, partner with Nigeria to interfere in their affairs?
Unfortunately, Niger does not get to make a call. You said you don't want a partner, and we said, okay, it's okay for us. So that is none of their business. So if it puts them under the pressure, then that's their business. They threw France out now. And so, it's like that,
right. Nicholas, thank you for your time. It's been an amazing run of the week. Thank you very much. We look forward to, even more amazing, time. And we'll kick off on Monday again. That's the size for this week. We're back on Monday, same time, 8 to 8:30. My name is Danielle Adeyemi.
My name is Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for joining us.
Here to see